Hello everyone, welcome to another session of Vista Export Services. For years, many users have wondered the benefit of using VRayNormals paths in post-production. In this session, we'll be taking you through the amazing process of using VRayNormals paths to help enhance the final render. We'll be using Adobe Photoshop 2020 to create the final image. However, you should also be able to achieve the same results using earlier versions of Photoshop. The company files are available for download. So without further ado, let's start by opening Adobe Photoshop, followed by going to File and opening the file named Living Room Camera Raw Filter.jpg. The final render came from this 3ds Max file using VRay. This is the camera view used to render the final image. After the final render, a bit of Photoshop was done and ended up looking like this final image. Most users would probably look at this render and consider it final, not realizing it could still be taken to the next level using the VRayNormal paths. To create the VRayNormal paths, in the Render Setup dialog, go to Render Elements tab and click to Add button. In this dialog, scroll down and choose the VRayNormal paths, which can be seen here, along with a list of other render paths as previously added. Once rendered, simply open the file under the name of living_room_final.VRayNormal.0000.tiff. The VRayNormals path render should look similar to this image. To begin using it, right-click and choose Duplicate Layer. In the Duplicate Layer dialog, choose the destination document to be this main render here, and click OK. Let's minimize it now. This is the VRayNormals path we've just duplicated into the document previously. To start, let's click on this Adjustment Layer button and choose from the list. To make the Levels Adjustment Layer to only affect the VRayNormals path below, simply hold down the Alt key and hover over this area. Once you see the clipping sign, simply click on it to create a clipping mask. As mentioned earlier, the Levels Adjustment Layer is now only affecting the VRayNormals path below. Next, to add a bit of contrast, let's move this middle point to the right slightly. These red areas are going to be the highlights. The next adjustment layer to be added is the hue and saturation. As previously done, let's also clip the hue and saturation layer against the layer below using the clipping mask. These two adjustment layers are now connected and only affecting the VRayNormals path below. Next, right-click on the hue and saturation layer and choose the red color from the list. We are color coding this specific layer because it's an important one. Will be later used to control the direction of the highlights. The next adjustment layer to add is the channel mixer. Again, as previously done, let's clip it against the layer below, followed by enabling its monochrome function here to make it grayscale. Let's add another hue and saturation layer on top and clip it against the layer below. Let's go back to the channel mixer adjustment layer and use the red, green and blue sliders to create a more contrasting image. The main goal is to highlight the areas you want more accentuated. To fully control the direction of the highlights, select the hue and saturation color coded layer and use the hue slider to shift the direction of the highlighted areas. As you can see, as the slider is moved, so will the highlighted areas along with it. We can always go back to the channel mixer layer to adjust the contrast a bit further depending on the effect you want to achieve. Let's rename this main hue and saturation layer accordingly to reflect its main purpose. Add the name _light direction. Let's adjust the channel mixer contrast a bit more to have highlights on a carpet. The final step is to select the VRayNormals path layer and change its blending mode from normal to a screen type. Because the highlighted areas seem a bit too bright, let's reduce its layer opacity to about 50%. By turning the VRayNormals paths on and off, we can clearly see the amazing difference it's making to the overall render. Next, let's create a layer mask by clicking on this button here. We'll be using a layer mask to remove the VRayNormals path effect on specific areas of the image. Let's enable the brush tool by clicking here or pressing B on your keyboard. While the brush tool is enabled, ensure the layer mask is selected. Otherwise, you might end up painting on the render itself, as opposed to the mask. In the background color, the black color takes away pixels when brushed, and the white color brings the pixels back by clicking on this icon to switch the colors before brushing. Alternatively, press X on your keyboard to switch the background colors. we'll be using the brush tool and a layer mask to take away the pixels mainly. The brush opacity is set to 100%. If we brush, it takes away pixels too abruptly. We can change this by reducing the brush opacity to about 10% to make it a bit smoother. Also, in the brush toolbar, the hardness value is set to 0% to have soft edges when brushing away pixels. At 100%, the brush edges will be too hard. Let's keep it at 0% to be soft. The size option allows users to set the size of the brush. We can use the slider or the left and right brackets on your keyboard. Again, ensure the layer mask is selected first before starting to brush away pixels. Let's brush away areas we want less highlights. Turn the VRayNormals sparse layer on and off to see the before and after effects. As you can see, adding the VRayNormals sparse effects improved the final render dramatically. The following step is to save the document as a PSD file first. Go to File and choose to Save As. Ensure the Layers function is enabled. This option will keep all the layers as they currently are. Finally, let's save the document as a flattened JPEG without the layers for printing or emailing purposes. Choose the maximum quality. Again, this is the before and after using VRayNormals sparse effects. This concludes our class. I really hope you found it useful, like and share it. And I really hope to see you on my next one.